So now you've opened it up and you have Drew McIntyre, John Cena, Baron Corbin, and Finn Balor fight for this right to party with Brock Lesnar. And Finn Balor, of all people, actually wins out. Not only does Finn Balor win out, but he also has a match where we make him a massive babyface before that, where he gets hammered by Jinder Mahal before the match and somehow still comes out victorious, and then goes on and had himself like a Seth Rollins night where he was the hard worker. And it was nice to see, because I've been tough on Finn Balor last year because I didn't think he was working hard enough. I thought he was kind of complacent, and it showed in the work. And since the recent time in the house shows, I told you, I saw him twice. He phoned it in both times. This last one I saw him in after Christmas, he did not phone it in. He was brilliant. So here's the question now, Tim Heaney. Are they going to get behind Finn Balor? Are we going to see the Demon, which we only saw one time, and I was there live in the building to see it at SummerSlam? Are we going to see the Demon again and beat Brock Lesnar? And are we working towards either a Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins versus the Demon match at WrestleMania? Because that's a main event, I think, puts pay-per-views, pay-per-view buys at a good rate.
I would like that surprise. If he's going to lose to Brock Lesnar, you can't use the Demon, I think.
Why not?
Maybe it can, but I think it's losing some impact if he's lost with it before, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody cares. I think everybody right now just wants to get behind something. And I don't know if regular babyface Finn Balor is a good enough concept for him to go against Brock Lesnar with.
True. I think it's a lot of the Daniel Bryan borrowing, except Daniel Bryan was the heel when they did this. So I wonder if they changed that midstream and he was going to be the babyface type that. So the size differential is going to play here as well. I think it would be a nice match. It would be a cool surprise if they did do it. I just think they're not having Brock Lesnar lose before WrestleMania. But maybe, depending on what his fight schedule coming up is, maybe he does have to exit at WrestleMania. So maybe you want him losing to someone else there without the title.
Well, I was going to say, maybe Brock Lesnar has to lose because of the fight schedule, and they want to just – maybe they're all realizing enough is enough. We can't go into the new year here without the belt on the show. I think that's – if they're going to listen, and they've been making allusions to, we're listening to the universe, we'll get the SmackDown and the whole listening to the universe thing, and the match that happened there that was 25 minutes long that everybody was super – thrilled with, and they should be, but that was what the audience was demanding. The audience wants the belt back on the show. And they also have always longed to have Finn Balor get his second run, or the run he never had. So doesn't this kind of kill two birds with one stone if you just do it right now and you see how it goes, and then you can decide maybe we do want to take it off him at WrestleMania, or maybe he is the face of the company.
I would be pleasantly surprised if they did. So
you think that Brock's going to win. So basically you're giving me a 2-week Finn Balor momentum that's going to get squashed and put us right back with Finn Balor where he was, and everyone's going to be more disenfranchised.
It's going to be a valiant loss, if nothing else.
I think that sucks. If that's the case, I think that is freaking terrible. I think that's the worst thing they can do. I'm with you.
I just think that's the way WWE wants to have this. I fear it's just a filler match. That's all it is.
I think that's awful. That is an awful.
I think you're right.
And not because it's awful to have a filler match, but why wouldn't you do that with Braun Strowman?
Because Braun's lost a couple of times to him already. I think that was actually the rumor of why they pulled him, because they didn't want to have him exposed to him, even though Braun's had his own problems that we've talked about. Maybe he's not even medically cleared yet. So
I don't know. I don't like this at all. To have Finn Balor come back. I know. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the world.
Yeah.
I'm mad at the state of things. And it's a terrible idea, because you're going to then it's actually going to have not an effect where you put Finn Balor right back where he was. I actually think you put him back. It ends up putting him back further down the trough than he was, because you can't have him do what he did here and then go and then just get squashed by Brock Lesnar, or not even get squashed. Even a valiant loss. I think it's a bad news. I think it's 2019. It's January, and the belt is still not on the show, and you need to get the belt on the show. It's just it's killing the show. And Finn Balor as Universal Champion, I'm fine with that. I think he can handle it. I thought he could handle it all along. So did the company at one point.
They would have given that chance when the belt was first created.
This is the perfect chance, though, because Tim, you only have to let him reign with it for 2.5 months. So you have a failsafe here where if it's not working, you could take it off of him before that, or if it's not working up until WrestleMania time, you could take it off then. Or if it's really working, maybe you've hit lightning in a bottle and you caught that, And you can ride that wave through WrestleMania into SummerSlam, and then that's really exciting.
Here's the thing. I mean, it depends, because considering what we're going to talk about, what happened on Raw, you've cleared Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to fight for that belt a little bit. If we've talked about it in the show before, if you have Seth Rollins be the guy to win the Rumble and then win that, beating Brock Lesnar would have a lot more impact to crown Seth Rollins as an even bigger Kingslayer. So
I don't disagree with that, but I'm wondering if the company was like, you know what, maybe Rollins isn't the way to go. Maybe we need to stop going backwards, because Rollins, in a way, is reverting to the same thing that they did with Lesnar. It's like, we panic, so we're just going to go give it to the guys that we always gave it to.
But he's earned it this
never
time.
Creating anything new. But there's also another wrinkle we haven't talked about. And the other wrinkle is, now, how happy do we have to keep Finn Balor before we lose him to All In?
Well, they must have listened to my my top 5 last week.
They did. They clearly are listening to. Clearly, everybody who works in creative at WWE listens to our program.
Of course.
That's without a doubt. But is there a certain thing where, hey, we need to be competitive, and if we don't start paying attention to these guys, they're going to leave?
If you develop a path for Seth Rollins besides the Universal title, I'm fine with it. I just think that it's
why can't
telegraphing itself to be a Brock Lesnar Seth Rollins thing.
But why can't the path be Finn Balor, Seth Rollins? Why can't
that would be cool? But
all right, let's be honest. We're
Go ahead.
both fans. We're fans of the show first and foremost. We're fans of the product. So I'm going to throw these matches out to you. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most excited you could be for a match, and 1 being the least amount. 1 being Honky Tonk Man against
Warrior,
against Ultimate Warrior. You tell me, Brock Lesnar. This is WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins. How excited are you for that match?
I could see 3.5 or 4. I think it's just
okay. I'm a 4. I'm
a culmination of Brock Lesnar losing to a big guy. It's great.
Right, and I think that's what pushes it to a 4 for me too. Yeah. Is okay. Finally, we're gonna get that loss. And remember, we also thought that about Roman Reigns last year. We didn't get that at WrestleMania. I hate to bring up an old wound and pour salt and lemon juice in it and rub it in.
They strung us along, but then it worked.
Yeah. And okay.
Well,
so,
you know what I mean. The initial plan worked for that.
Okay. So what's your excitement level for Finn Balor, Seth Rollins Universal Title match?
Well, for technical purposes, it would be higher than that. Yes.
So give me a star. Give me a number rating.
4.5. I think
4.5. I am at a full blown 5 there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a full blown rock hard 5.
They better build it great for my narrative pickiness.
I don't need a narrative pickiness. I just want to see those guys. You know what? Because if you're gonna give me a WrestleMania match, it's gonna be a long match anyway for you. I'd rather see 2 guys in there who know what they're doing.
Right. If you have Seth Rollins be the guy like, all right, Triple H, you don't believe in me, I'll turn full heel, then yeah, sure, that'd be cool. And maybe that's where Finn Balor can get a good win there as well. So
I don't even care if Finn Balor turns heel. To tell you the truth, I think Finn Balor turning heel would be a wonderful thing to see. I think
that would be a Band-Aid rip. That'd be fun. Yeah.
I think he works better that way. I think he works better dangerous. That's why I like him as that character. And I told you, I almost like him being the agent for that character. I think it's a great way to do it. We talked about that as being a potential way to bridge the gap where you don't have to have him do the full garb every week. You have him basically talk about him like Paul Heyman talks about Brock Lesnar. It's like, if you want a match with the Demon, then you'll have to go, work through this or whatever that is. Like, the Demon is this other entity and this personality. It'd be so cool. We talk about cutting edge. Yeah. Cutting edge, something new, something fresh, something unique.
If he retained against Seth by turning heel, that'd be cool. I would
all right. Here's another one. Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor for the Universal title. Really going all in on the new concept. What's your excitement level on that?
3.
It's less than Lesnar. Wow. I'm shocked. I'm at a 4 for that one.
Lesnar's, there's a story behind it. Drew, it's like, okay, he's great, but he's had his couple of moments here and there, but I just don't think – I think it's more of a SummerSlam thing, Drew McIntyre, right now.
So it's more of a summer fling for you. It's more just you don't want to take it as seriously. Maybe,
no, I think
maybe you guys are down at the beach club together, and you just have a little couple weeks of fun. You and Drew McIntyre.
Anyway,
I haven't gotten you exasperated with me in a long time. That was fun. I get what you're saying. I do. I honestly do. I'm just so over Brock Lesnar right now. That's my problem. Well, and you're less over him than I am.
This another year more of the same. Rip the damn Band-Aid off and let him get out of here.
Well, and
have it push somebody else up.
Right, and that's my concern is that not only you're not pushing someone else up, you're completely burying them again. And you can't give me Finn Balor in this moment at Royal Rumble, which could be huge. If Finn Balor beats Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble, you all of a sudden have set everything on fire. Everyone is stoked. If he loses, everybody goes into Monday night rolling their eyes. And you've had people rolling their eyes at Monday Night Raw for a good 6 months now. You can't do it. I can't. I think it's an awful thing to do. You know? I agree. And if you're going to do it, don't do it with him. Don't do it with Finn Balor in particular, because that's the one guy you just can't do it. He's tenuous right now to begin with.
Yeah.
So
no,
here you go.
You're right. I mean, I would be pleasantly happy if they do go in that direction. I just don't think they're going to.
I think it opens up a lot more possibilities, and and the fact that now Bobby Lashley is Intercontinental Champion, which we can segue right to that.
Yeah.
We'll save some of the other stuff because it just makes sense there. You are freeing up Dean and Seth, but I don't think that the company has confidence in them to have a WrestleMania match after the last one they had. It was not a good match. I mean, it was such a clunker. It was boring. It was a clunker.
Maybe the most disappointing match of the year. Maybe.
I'll tell you what, Dean Ambrose, since he's come back, has worked stiffer than I've ever seen him. Now, I don't know if it's because he's bigger, he's stronger than he used to be, but he doesn't sell like he used to. Mm-hmm. And this is another guy, too, where his offense as a heel plays in a weird way. He's kind of got this like snarky little, I'm going to poke you in the eye and do this stuff, and it's more clever kind of things. It was fun as a wackadoo babyface, but as a heel, it's kind of just meh for me. But he's not selling. He's not selling like he used to.
I know. Maybe he's got to change his ring attire because he can't fall properly. He can't take a bump in that stuff.
But he always wrestled in jeans. So I mean, I think he's working stiffer because physically he's less flexible than he used to be. He is stiff in that ring.
I was gonna say the injury might have affected him. The way he trained to come back might have affected him. But
I mean, he looks good. He looks better. He looks more like a professional wrestler who should have a belt. But it's not transferred to the in-ring work, and I think that's an issue right now. So I don't think the company's going to touch Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins again at WrestleMania.
That was the most deflating opportunity of the year, Ambrose Rollins. It should have been much better.
Well, we already talked about the original sin of that. The original sin was them not fighting over the belt. See, and this is where WWE panicked, and it put them – they had something – their worst nightmare happened. Roman Reigns out. And not even with like an injury where you're like, okay, we're going to get him back in 6 months. It's an illness. It's a life-threatening illness where everything has to stop. So their worst nightmare happened. And instead of going, all right, well, this is an opportunity, which I thought that night they were taking when they turned him, they went right back and they put that belt on Brock Lesnar, which was a horrible idea. Mm-hmm. Because if they had made it up for grabs between the two remaining guys for the Shield, it would have meant something. And then who knows? Maybe you could have had Dean have it for a little while and try that on and see what happens. And maybe Seth could have won it from it Rumble.
It was a natural progression to keep it in the Shield. You're right.
It would have. The original sin was not having them fight over that, because what happened is, what were they fighting over? If they were fighting over Roman's scraps or fighting over Roman's status in the company, that would have been great, and it would have perhaps hid some of the feud wasn't bad. But the feud didn't have the juice underneath it because they weren't fighting for anything, Yeah.
No, it's good to table it for now. I'm with you. But it could be the Royal Rumble. But the Royal Rumble could be the next thing. That's a stake, at least.
For how do you mean?
If they're the final two in the Rumble or something like that.
Well, that's a fine way to try to rebuild it.
And then you keep it dormant until that for the next couple of weeks. You don't let them touch each other.
So then what do you do with Lashley now for the next couple of weeks? Is it Elias and Lashley?
Elias, I mean, I wish Chad Gable were a singles wrestler right now, because that would be the hell of a guy to take.
Well,